everybody. This is Amanda, and we are live from my desk, but we're actually from my at-home, at-work desk. And I am just going to get my good friend, Miss Stefanie Dove, on the line here with us. How's everyone's day? It's a super rainy day here in New Hampshire. We're probably getting a lot of rain from the south, and it is going to be a great weekend. We're going apple picking, which is going to be absolutely fabulous with my 5 and 2-year-old. And on Saturday, we're doing one of my favorite things, which is going to the Topsfield Fair, which is a family tradition that we have. So if anyone has those kind of fun fall fairs that they go to and have apple cider donuts and do something cool, that's what's happening here in with. So we're really excited for that. But let me see if I can get Miss Stefanie Dove. Good afternoon, lady. How are you today?
I'm good. Long time no chat. It's
I
been
know.
a long 2 weeks. I know everyone was really disappointed, but let's face it, like 9 o'clock is not happening. It's not happening. We tried really hard, but I'm excited to be back. I mean, gotta love us for trying, but that also goes to show that we are not superheroes. People are always like, do you guys ever sleep? Clearly we do, because last week I went home and went to bed, so it's fine. So I'm excited about our topic today, Amanda. I think it's a really fun topic. I think you are the best at networking. Yes, I think you could walk up to a total stranger and just chat it up. So fun fact, I'm very shy and people don't realize this. So even when I walk up to people, my heart's pounding. Every time I present, my heart is pounding and I get so nervous and I'm very shy, but I just kind of fake it till I make it. That's my trick for success to public speaking and networking.
So let's go into tip number 1 for networking. Have no shame. You're going to look like a fool sometimes and you have to step out of your comfort zone, but you need to understand that whoever you're walking up to or having a conversation with, you know, they're in the same business that you're in, and that's what they're there to do, is to meet new people, to get new ideas. So don't have any shame. Go up and just talk to people. Stefanie, you're the best networker. You know everybody.
No, because I know everyone from social media. So that's my buy-in for people. So people that I see, that I know their faces from their district social media channels, I put 2 and 2 together and I intentionally talk about, oh my goodness, like I saw your food truck photos last week. They were fantastic. Let me know more. That is how I buy in. Or if I don't know anyone, I focus on what they're wearing, especially if it's females, because we love to be complimented on our dress, our shoes, our jewelry. I will go with that always, 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 as a way to make it less awkward, because I tried and when I first came into school nutrition and I didn't really know anyone, I would be that person who was standing there hoping someone would talk to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like daggers. So I decided to just chime on in. So that's what I did. I just chimed on in. Do you have like a segue that you kind of use as an icebreaker?
So I guess not. Liz Russell is watching, and I think it's hysterical that you've said that, because the first time I met Liz was at an after-hours event, and I just walked up to this strange girl at the bar, and I was like, I love your cowboy boots. And I had no idea who she was. But now Liz and I are besties. Love you, Liz. And she hosts Gab and Go podcast, sponsored by Horizon, which is fabulous. You should check it out if you have some time. And so I guess for icebreakers, it's just walk up to someone and just say hello. It's so funny. So someone came up to me and they were like nervous to talk to me, and I was very confused. You don't have to. You all have something in common. We work in school nutrition. Like, that's the perfect icebreaker. Where are you from? It's an easy
Yeah.
question. It's a direct question. It has an answer. People don't have to think about it that much. But even when you're sitting down in a session or sitting down, I've met people on elevators, like the coolest people on elevators, just having that conversation and just networking, you never know who you're going to meet. Love the cowboy boot emoji, Liz.
I love it.
And one of our vendors, Tim Cipriano, Chef Tim, he just said something really great, Stephanie. He said in a Hamilton quote, talk less, listen more. Well, in Hamilton, it's talk less, smile more, but listen more than talk. So I think that's something that's really important that people do too, because you want to know who you're talking to and then, kind of tailor the conversation to that. Because if you're speaking to a vendor, it's going to be a different conversation than you're speaking to the SNA president or to the amazing Stefanie Dove.
Oh, no. I love it. I think that's important. And that's something that I need to get better about. Like, I am my talker. We're both kind of talkers. And so my mom would always go, zip. She's like, you need to zip it up a little bit more. And so I work on that. It's a struggle, but I know that's a weakness. So I work on that. So it's okay. So I love that. Team No Shame. I think that's a great networking tip. And then I love to get your opinion on business cards.
Okay. So business cards. There's two things that are wonderful about business cards. One is that it immediately connects you with that person. The thing that people don't use business cards as much as they should, right? So what do you do with your business cards once you have them, Stephanie?
So I take a photo and throw them in the trash, and I use the photo and I make myself a note over the conversation I had with that person, and then I find them on social media. So I do not use a business card, and quite frankly, like, I carry business cards, but a lot of times I'm like, hey, like, you want more information about what I do and our program? Like, here's our handle on social media, follow us. Done. Because it's a whole lot easier for people, and most people have social media on their phones. It's so easy. I went to a networking event last week, and this group of girls had electronic business cards. They're like, what's your number? And they text me, and their business card just popped up on my phone. So now that's going to be my new thing that I'm going to look for. And I think that's awesome. It's also saving so much paper, because how much paper do we waste on business cards? I mean, I know they're important, but that's just one of those things that I think I take photos of them. So that's my answer. I take a photo and then put it in the trash can.
But you're using the information and you're somehow notating and you're following up with those people. And I think that that's the point of the business card is the connecting, the networking, the building of people to connect with, to have new ideas, to share things, and to do super awesome, bring school lunch to a new place, wherever you may be. So I think that's the point.
Yeah. So, and I think everyone uses business cards in a different way. I know some people love keeping them in a Rolodex. I just prefer to file mine in a folder, a picture folder. So that's how I do mine. So that's my business card organizational structure. So yeah, so business cards are a great tip to network, helps make those connections. And I think one thing people often do not do when they take a business card is to write down why they need to connect with that person, because you're so flooded at a conference with all of these people. Just making yourself a little note, like, get pasta recipe, like, at least you'll know, and then you'll get back to your office, you'll see them, and you're like, oh, okay, I need to follow up with her on this.
Perfect. So what's the strangest place that you've met someone? We don't practice these beforehand, folks.
Yeah. The strangest place. Well, it's not, it's not strange in that it was like at the gym in the locker room, but it was strange in that someone tried to talk to me about school gardens in the gym locker room as like I'm trying to like change and leave. So that was kind of awkward. A little awkward, but I love a good school garden, so I still sat there and talked about it. Like, God help me. So what about you? I feel like you have a good story, or you would not have asked this.
Um, I actually, I'm not sure. So, actually, I'll tell you. So, I made a friend. I was at a law conference. My husband's an attorney, and we went to northern New Hampshire. And my first year, it was a multi-state news story that I took the corn dogs off the middle school menu. Don't ask me how, don't ask me why. I was known as the corn dog lady. So I met someone and I was talking to them about school lunch. So I, get into my elevator pitch of what school lunch is. And she goes, wait, are you the corn dog lady? And I was like, oh my gosh. Sweet Jesus, I can't believe that this is happening right now. So I guess that's a networking horror story when someone knows you for something that perhaps is not your best face, or you need to clarify, or Stephanie and I have been privy to Miss Jessica Shelley educating an individual on school lunch who happened to say that his child did not eat school lunch. And it is so funny the way that we love this industry and the knowledge we choose to impart on the individuals who don't. And it's just amazing.
Oh my gosh. So I guess the question now, did you add said corn dogs back to your menu after getting multi-state backlash?
Not at the middle school.
Ah, there we go. Hey.
Well, we ended up turning it, actually, this was pretty brilliant. I ended up turning it into a marketing ploy because I ended up going on a maternity leave. And it was the big thing, Mrs. Venezia is not here, we're having corn dogs. So we turned it into this huge marketing ploy, and it was the biggest participation we've ever had. So, it was,
I love it.
Forbidden.
Did they make a campaign like save the dogs? Like hashtag, or who let the dogs out when you put them back on the menu? Like, no. I could see that, a kid making a video with corn dogs running instead of the dogs. That would be great.
Don't give my children any ideas. They don't need any ideas. We are getting way off topic of networking.
Yeah, so networking. So that was an odd comment, but I love it. So what's your next tip for networking? Because you are just awesome at networking.
Like I said, having no shame, I actually started a conversation with someone one time by apologizing to them. So one time I had met someone and I had called them the wrong name. And in the second meeting, and it was just like one of those kind of very quick things. So the second time I said, I owe you an apology. And that was not per se like a networking way, but it was just a very real way, because we do it all the time. Have you ever met someone and you're like, I can't remember your name, or you call someone by the wrong name? Like, own up to it, totally own it, because you don't want to be that person who, when you call someone by the wrong name, it's like, oh my gosh, this person doesn't care about me, or I'm not as important, or something like that. Like, exactly. Totally own up to it. Once I figured out that I called this person by the wrong name, I was like, oh my gosh, I owe you the biggest apology. So just being super real with people, and understanding, I guess kind of knowing your environment and knowing who you're talking to and appreciating them for who they are, because it's a totally different conversation. Like I said, when you're speaking to like a vendor versus someone in school food, or when I'm talking to my mom versus talking to you, basically kind of know your audience. So I think that that's a big and important part of networking. And I don't have the rest of our notes on my screen.
That's why I kept asking you. I kept casually going back to you, because I definitely don't have that. But I think going back to that, so just like don't call people the wrong name or own up to it. When you do follow up via email, spell the name right. I say this more so from a personal thing. I receive literally 5 to 10 emails a day where people have spelled my name incorrectly, to the point that I just stopped. Just like I had so much appreciation for Christy. We've been saying Tegan. It's Tegan. It's not Tegan, but she just stopped correcting people because no one would get it right. And that's how I am with my name. And I shouldn't be that way, because your name is your name. So spell it right. So, oh, Patty agrees with me. Oh, the struggle is real. So I think that is just a professional networking communication tip. Make sure you're spelling the name right, especially if their full name is their email address. You're typing their name correctly in an email address, so make sure you're typing it right in the body. So that's a minor segue until you pulled your list back up.
I've got my list, and the other ones were, so it was have no shame, utilizing business cards, selling your worth or knowing your worth. So how do you fit in with this person? How can you be helpful to them? Because people want things from people all the time. But if you add value to that person, or you have something that's worth giving them, then you can make it sort of a reciprocal relationship, and they're more likely to not ignore your emails when they get back from a conference. So that, and then the other one was be searchable. I presented with someone this summer, and he had a fake Facebook account set up because of a bet with his brother or something. And I was like, no, you have to be searchable. Like, people need to be able to find you, especially if your email address is something odd with your school district, like, or really complicated, like the K-12 and the state name.
Yeah.
So be searchable in some way, whether it's on a social media platform or, you have your business card, make sure you follow up. And using LinkedIn is a great way to be sociable, because that's the point of LinkedIn. If you're not a person for Facebook, if you're not a person for Instagram, LinkedIn is a professional marketing networking software. So LinkedIn is definitely in our top 5 pieces for networking.
Yeah, and I will give Jen Louie so much credit. So last year when I spoke on the Millennial panel on behalf of SNA, I was like, I hate LinkedIn. I think it's a waste of time. I just don't think it's worthwhile. And she's like, I really think you should give it a chance. So Jen Louie, almost a year later, I'm a regular LinkedIn user now. I engage on there. I try hard. But going back to your worth really quick, I do think that is why there's also value in developing your personal elevator pitch and understanding your why. Because if you don't know why you're doing something, you're going to sell yourself short on your worth to your program, to this industry as a whole, and to yourself, because your worth is all about your why. And so it's a whole lot easier when you know your why in life and your why in your job to sell your worth and say, I can help you do this because I know I've made an impact doing X, Y, and Z. So I think that goes back to that. So yeah, I think those are great tips. And if everyone is on LinkedIn and
do you see this, Stephanie?
Oh.
She made social media business card. Patty, can you share that? I totally want to see what that looks like.
Yeah, I would love to see that, because I think that's going to be my new thing. I think that's so easy. Everyone has their smartphones out taking photos of things at shows and meetings. It's a whole lot easier to say, oh, shoot me a text with your things. Thanks, Patty. We appreciate it. So everyone can see. So Patty is going to share a social media business card in the comments below. So that way we can check it out and see what it is. So yeah, if you guys have networking tips that you go to, make sure you drop them in the comments below. And also, Amanda and I are both on LinkedIn. So if you want to connect with us on LinkedIn, go for it. We do. We share like I said, and Amanda said, LinkedIn's all about a professional Facebook, essentially. It's kind of like Facebook, but it's for professionals. So you're not really sharing photos of your dogs and cats and stuff on LinkedIn. I mean, some people do, but it's more for professional networking, which is nice. So you can separate both and do that. So that's a great way. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. And I think we've covered some key networking tips, and we will see you guys next week on Tuesday at 3:30. We won't skip next week like we did last week. So perfect.
Thank you everyone for joining us. We are Stephanie and Amanda, and we are not live so live from my desk, but live from my desk.
All right, everyone, have a great week. Bye. Have a good day.